Hello students, so today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is the 5 kingdom classification. This 5 kingdom classification you have already studied up in your 7th standard, okay? But as you were in the 7th standard, the chapter was not in advance. But in the standard 9, this chapter is well in advance. So I want you to keep the textbook along with you, because there are different words which are going to come in this chapter. So it should not create any kind of a problem, and it should not create any kind of a barrier for you. So please keep the textbook along with you, so that you can easily understand this chapter. So let's start. So what do you mean by species? Species means an organisms of a particular kind whose members can interbreed among themselves to produce the young fertile one. Okay, what does that exactly means? If suppose a man, okay, this is a man who marries with a female, okay, this is female, and this is a male. So whenever this male and the female is going to have a sex, at that period of a time they are going to give a birth to the young one, okay, and this child of there is known as the young one. And the word fertile, what does that exactly mean? Just keep this word on hold. As of now, just I am going to explain you the word meaning. Species means an organism of a particular kind whose member can interbreed among themselves. Suppose this is a human and this female is also humans, but their species are same, so because of this they can produce their young one, okay. Now let's understand the meaning of the species in quite detail by taking an example of this. Suppose, so this was all about the human condition which I have given the example to you right now, but let's look at these dogs. There is a German Shepherd, there is a German Shepherd, there is an normal street dog, okay, many different types of a dogs categories we have. Now a question arises, can they interbreed among themselves? What does interbreed means? Interbreed means having sex, and can they produce their young ones? The answer to this is yes. Why? Because this all dogs, they look different, okay, their body features are different, like it has a sharp ears, but this dog has a fluffy ears, okay, there is a difference, okay. This is quite wild in nature and this seems like a very innocent one. The body features are different, but if the species of these dogs are same and they interbreed, means having sex together, they can give a birth to their young ones, okay. So species mean that, because they are the 4 different varieties of dog, but as their species are same, they can give the birth to their young one. Now, so this was all about the categories of the dog who can interbreed among themselves. Now we are going to understand about this topic, some crosses between 2 different species. What does 2 different species means? Suppose this Zenki, Tigan, Geep, Pometo, these are the 2 different species. They are made up of 2 different species. Suppose how this Zenki is made. Zenki, first understand this part. If suppose there is a male donkey plus it fuses with the female donkey, so definitely it is going to produce donkey only, okay. Suppose I take an example of zebra, male zebra and female zebra, definitely it is going to give a birth to the zebra only. That's very obvious, na? Human give birth to the humans only, zebra give birth to the zebra, donkey gives birth to the donkey, dog give birth to the dog. But Zenki is something very different. Zenki means what? Suppose there is a zebra and it got fused with the donkey. So it particularly, now a question arises whether this zebra plus donkey fusion, like interbreeding, having sex with each other, is going to give a birth to a zebra or a donkey. Well, it is going to give a birth to a new species, that is Zenki. What is this Zenki? Zenki is nothing but Zenki is a mixture of this zebra plus donkey. The word Zen comes from zebra and Enki comes from the word donkey. Again, this is Tigan. Tigan, if you assume Tig, so definitely it's a tiger, and On stands for lion. So Tigan is a mixture of lion plus tiger. And Geep is a mixture of goat and sheep. Okay, and this Pomato is very different. Okay, Pomato is a mixture of a potato and tomato. Okay, so basically these are the different type of the species. Okay, now this Zenki, this Tigan, Geep, all this part, basically all this part are the species. Okay, are the new species. If this Zenki, suppose I just want to give an example, suppose this Zenki has a sex with the zebra, okay, have a interbreeding with zebra, so can it give rise to the young one? The answer to this is no. Why? If Zenki had a interbreeding with zebra, it won't be able to give an offspring, means it won't be able to produce up its baby. Why? Because all the species, this Zenki, Tigan, Geep, Pomato, are sterile in nature. What does the condition mean, sterile? Sterile means which cannot give birth to their young ones. Who cannot give birth. Okay, who cannot give the birth. Okay, they are sterile in nature, this Zenki, Tigan, Geep, Pomato. Okay, so these are some different cross, so that is why it has been written the word crosses, example of crosses between the two different species. Now this is basically a photo of a Zenki, and how does Zenki has been formed? With the help of the zebra plus donkey. Now here some things have been written for you, that is the genus. Okay, these are the categories higher than the species. First, species is the lowest. Okay, this is the genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. So you should know of this order perfectly. Why you should be able to know of this order perfectly? Because this is very important. Okay, they might ask you for the arrange in the chronological order. What does that means? That you have to arrange the following into the perfect order. Like, see, after kingdom what is going to come? Phylum, and after phylum class is going to come. After class, order, family, genus, and then the last one, the species. Now if you see this part, this is an inverted triangle. What do you mean by inverted triangle? Okay, the base part is at the top and the top part is at the bottom. This is known as the inverted, means ulta. This is the kingdom at the top, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. As the species is the lowest, so that is why it is getting a low amount of a base. The kingdom, the word kingdom is very important and it's very big, so that is why it has got the bigger base than the other part. Now I have to talk in detail regarding this part. You have all heard about this word, na? Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. Who are Homo sapiens? Okay, who are Homo sapiens? The word Homo sapien means the humans only. The word Homo sapien means the humans only. Why I'm telling you this part in detail? Let's understand with an easy example. Suppose a person, a female, suppose, who reside in India, okay, and a person who stays in America, and he's a male. Can there be a mixture of an Indian and an American? The answer to this is yes. Why? Because a person who is there in India, a person who is there in America, Europe, or any other continents are Homo sapiens. Okay? And since the species are same, they can interbreed among themselves. Now a question arises. You have all heard about this word, that is the Neanderthal man, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Homo erectus in your lower standards. Okay, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Homo erectus. If suppose this this Neanderthal man have a sex with this Homo sapiens, would they be able to produce their young one? The answer to this is no. The answer to this is no. Why? Because the species are not same. As the species are not same, they can't interbreed among themselves. Why? Because the word Homo and sapiens. I will help you to know this part. Homo sapiens. See, the word Homo is for humans, and the sapiens means the species. So basically, the word Homo means genus. This is genus. In Neanderthal, Homo erectus. Suppose I take an example. Homo erectus. Again, these are the apes form, na? Ape, from ape we have converted into humans, right? In this also there is a Homo word, and in this also there is a word Homo. They both are of genus. They are both are of the same genus, but the species are different. We, the modern day humans, are called sapiens. And who was the erectus? They were the humans before us. Okay, they were the ape form, which is known as the erectus, and they are of the same. They are of the different species. So this erectus and the sapiens are of different species. They cannot interbreed among themselves. Now, so we have studied about the species and the genus perfectly in a detail. There are many cats, right? Many cats, many dogs. What does a house cat called as? House cat called as. The word house cat is called as Felis domesticus. What does it mean? Felis domesticus. Now, why I am making you understand this in detail? Because see, you should know this chapter perfectly. Because the word Felis, Felis, is nothing but the genus, and the second letter, that is the domesticus. What is domesticus? It is nothing but the species. Okay. Now, this naming system, like species, genus, family, order, is called as the taxonomy. With the help of this taxonomy, we can identify the animals and we can give them the proper orders. Let's understand. Suppose there are variety of crows. Okay, crows. There are variety of crows. Varieties of crow. But you have heard about this word, na? Corvus. in your literature part in your 8th standard. Corvus. Okay, what does this corvus means? Okay, the word corvus means the genus. Okay, I am going to write this corvus word again. Why I am going to write this corvus word again? I am going to explain it. Corvus. Suppose I add a word. Okay, in front of this corvus, I give it a word. Suppose I give a word splendens. Splendens. Keep the textbook along with you so it becomes very easy for you to understand. Corvus splendens. What does this corvus means? This corvus means the genus, and this word splendens means the species. Okay. Now I am going to write one more name, that is Corvus macrohynchos. What this macrohynchos means? Again, this is the species. But this Corvus splendens is used for the house crow. This word, house crow, the crow which we usually see at our home, okay, in the window. And this Corvus macrohynchos is a jungle crow. Jungle crow. What is the difference between this jungle crow and a house crow? Their difference lies in their body features, like size, the color, because Corvus macrohynchos is quite dark in nature, it's very black. Okay, and the beak is also two pointed. Okay, the beak is quite big and pointed as well. So we have talked about this genus and the species. Now we are going to talk about the family part. Family. See, I'm talking about this part, that is the family. Okay, you have already heard about this word, that lion. Okay, this lion is called Panthera leo. Okay, what does that mean? Panthera leo. Again, tiger is called Panthera tigris. This family, okay, the genus, that is the Panthera, is same in both the cases. Okay, why they are same in both the cases? Because after all, this lion, tiger, cat, all lies in the same family. So that is why we called them as a cat family also. So that is why they have the same name, that is the Panthera. Now we are going to talk about some order related part. We have already heard about this family part. There is a dog family also. What does dog include? That the dog, fox, jackals, okay, they belong to the dog family. This lion, tiger, cat, they all include to the cat family. And this cat family is also called as the Felidae, which is a biological word. Felidae. What is this Felidae means? Felidae means, the word Felidae came from the word Felis. Okay, Felis, you have heard that in the house cat. Okay, this is known as the Felidae. Now order. Now there are different order we are going to talk. Now the cat family and the dog family. Okay, I'm going to represent their family name. Okay, Felidae. I'm going to write a single word, Felidae, where it means all tiger, lions, cats. And I'm going to write another name of the family, that is the Canidae, where it means dog family. This Felidae and Canidae, okay, even they have the same features. Their order is same. Why? Because they both are carnivorous in nature. Okay, they are the flesh eaters. They always consume up the non-vegetarian part in their diet. So that is why they are called as the carnivora. carnivora. The order is also same of there. Now the class. As we humans, bats, dog, okay, we are of the same class. Why we dog, cats, bats, monkey, humans are of the same kind? Because we are called mammals. What does mammal means? Mammal means which give birth to the young ones. Okay, we does not lay egg. We give directly birth to the young ones. So that is why our class are same. Now phylum. Now see, there might be a question asked, dash is the largest division in the classification of plants and animals. So it is phylum. Okay, this phylum is very important. This phylum consists of the chordata animals. What does chordata animal means? Chordata animal means who has a proper backbone. Who has a proper backbone. Okay, there are some example I want to take here, like earthworm. Okay, earthworm, ascariasis, leech. They all does not have the backbone, so they are non-chordata. But animals which have the proper backbone, we humans, birds, reptiles, okay, they have been classified in this class, that is the chordata part, because we have the backbone. Now there is a last one, that is a kingdom. The kingdom is the largest division of the living being. Phylum is also the largest division, but it only helps to classify plants and animals. But why the word kingdom has been came? Because kingdom here means it includes all the living division. Okay, like bacteria. Can you tell that bacteria is a plant or animal? No, bacteria is not a plant nor an animal. It is something very different. So that is why kingdom include each and everything, whether it is a bacteria, whether it is an amoeba, whether it is an humans, whether it is plants, animals, everything it includes. So which is the largest division of living being? That is a kingdom. And phylum is the largest division, but with respect to the plants and animals only. So this is how there has been different classification. Now in the earlier days, there are millions of diversity, okay, in the atmosphere or in the environment. So they have introduced a system in the olden days. Here in the slide I have not mentioned, but I will tell you in the olden days how they used to classify. See, in the olden days there were only few animals, so they were considered under animals or they were considered under plants. They would be considered as animals or plants. Suppose a dog, I give you an example, a dog, whether it goes in a class of animals or plants? Definitely mango plant, where it is going to go? Mango tree, suppose. So it is going to go in the class of the plants. But suppose I give you an example of a bacteria, then can you tell a bacteria is an animal or a plant? The answer to this is it is not an animal nor it is a plant. Okay, so that is why this two kingdom classification was introduced by the scientist named Carl Linnaeus. But as this bacteria was not getting a proper class, because this bacteria cannot be included in animal or in a plant, it needs a different separation. So that is why there was some drawbacks. What do you mean by a word drawback? Drawback means the disadvantage. Bacteria, fungi, euglena and bread mold. What does bacteria and fungi? Why the bacteria and fungi both were not considered as a plants also, and they were not considered as animals also? Why? See, bacteria and fungi for not having chlorophyll. It was not having chlorophyll. As it was not having chlorophyll, how it can carry up the photosynthesis? So no chlorophyll, no photosynthesis. It goes with the logic. Okay, if there is no chlorophyll, no photosynthesis, so it can't be included in the class of the plants. And it can't be included, okay, it can't be included in the class of the animals also, because bacteria and fungi are not the animals, okay, because these bacteria are unicellular in nature, whereas animals and plants both are multicellular. We have already completed this part in the first chapter, okay. They are multicellular in nature, whereas bacteria and fungi are unicellular in nature, so they can't be extremely classified. Second, euglena. Euglena was having a chloroplast, okay. You have heard this word chloroplast, it's a pigmentation. And where the chloroplast is present? The chloroplast is present in the plants. So it was having a feature like a plant, okay. But this euglena was not having a cell wall. No cell wall was there in the euglena. As no cell wall was present, and you have studied this in your first chapter, that is cell, a plant always have a what? It always have a cell wall. But as in the case of the euglena there was no cell wall, so how can it can be classified as a plant? It was having a chloroplast like a plant, but it was not having a cell wall, so we can't call this euglena as a plant. So again this was excluded. Then bread mold. What is the bread mold? Suppose I give you a condition. This is a piece of a bread. If you keep up the bread stale for more days, okay, so there is some black color organism grows on this, okay. Black color organisms grows on this, and because of this the bread becomes stale, okay. So what is this organism is called? This organism is called as the bread mold. This bread mold, the feature of this bread mold was that it was not having roots, it was not having stem, and it was not having a leaves, and it was not having the chlorophyll as well. So can we classify no roots, no stem, no leaves, nothing, okay, can we classify bread mold in the class of the plants? The answer to this is no, because it was not having any of the features, and we can't call this bread mold as animals, okay. So that is why there was a drawback of this O2 classification, because this three organism, that is bacteria, euglena, bread mold, was not getting a specific space in the animals or plants. So that is why there was a development, okay, there was a modification. What do you mean by that? There was the changes that has been brought by the scientists. See, in your syllabus, according to your syllabus, there was only two kind of classification, and after that they directly started with the fifth kingdom classification. But after two kingdom classification, there was introduction of three kingdom, then there was an introduction of four, and then it came to five, okay. And after 5 it is also there 6, 7, but according to your syllabus we are just going to do about 5. Now first, Monera. As I said, what do you mean by the word Monera? First, I'm going to easy for you, I'm going to make it easy for you. The word Monera means single. Why it is known as the single? Because you have studied this unicellular word. They are unicellular, okay, and they include organisms which are prokaryotic in nature. Prokaryotic. What does this prokaryotic means? The word prokaryotic means without the nucleus, okay, without the perfect nucleus. This Monera is called as the single, okay, I'm making it easy for you, and they include only animals which are unicellular and prokaryotic. What does this Monera was included? They include bacteria. What does they include? They include bacteria. In Monera classification, no nucleus was there. No organized nucleus was there. Okay. Suppose I make a structure of a bacteria. This is a bacteria. And what does prokaryotic means? That it does not have a proper nucleus. The nuclear material is bounded like this. It is not enclosed. But what happens in a eukaryotic? Suppose this is in cell, okay, and there is a nucleus inside, and inside the nucleus there are the material. But here there is no nucleus, okay. And this Monera also devoid of the organelles like mitochondria. Devoid means what? No presence of the no presence of such organelles, like which? Mitochondria and chloroplast. Mitochondria and chloroplast. So this Monera was included in the first phase, that is this bacteria was included in the first classification, that is the Monera. Now we are going to discuss about the second, that is the Protista. What is this Protista is? Again, the Protista means old. First we will understand in easy, old. This is unicellular and eukaryotic. What was the difference between a Monera and a Protista? Even the Protista was unicellular, but the Monera was prokaryotic, whereas this Protista was eukaryotic. What does that means? Eukaryotic means it was having a nucleus and the membrane, the nuclear material was there inside this nucleus, because this Protista was having a well defined nuclear membrane, okay. They include both the animals. That is the green autotrophic organisms who are unicellular, and non-green heterotrophic. They include animals in the unicellular phase, right? But has been classified again into two parts: green and non-green. Green and non-green. What does green include? It includes Clamodomonas. Okay, Clamodomonas. And what does non-green include? It includes Euglena. Okay, as we were talking in the two kingdom classification, it includes Euglena and amoeba. And there is one exception, okay. And there is one exception in this Protista class, that it includes only one multicellular. Only one exception is there, that is Pandorina. Why this is an exception? Because Protista was related to unicellular, but only one multicellular organism was included, that is Pandorina. Why it was included? Because it can provide up the photosynthesis process, okay, because it is green in nature. Now we are going to move to the third classification, that is the fungi, okay. See, as the above two classification was related to unicellular, but now we are going to learn new, that is multicellular. What do you mean by that? Means having more cells. Multicellular. This was eukaryotic in nature. What does eukaryotic means? I now only suggested it has a proper nuclear membrane. And this fungi was saprophytic in nature. What do you mean by word saprophytic? The word saprophytic means, the word phytic means related to food, and sapro means living on the dead and the decay, okay. dead and the decay. Suppose we bury up a body, okay, when we bury any dead body, so after a few months what happens to their body? That body gets converted into the skeleton. How it was possible to convert that proper human into a skeleton? Because this fungi, okay, they grow on them and obtain of the nourishment, right? Dead and decay. Okay, this fungi was got a perfect new class of itself. Okay, mostly fungi are made up of thread like hyphae, okay, and they include many examples such like that is a bread mold. We have already done this in the two kingdom classification. And yeast, you have heard this word, okay. This yeast is used in the baking industry. Okay, so we have completed this Monera class, and this was a diagram related to the Monera class. We can see out here it does not have any of the nuclear membrane. We have completed the protista part, and we can see these examples, okay. They are having a proper nucleus inside them. We have already discussed about this fungi part and where they grow. On the bread, I said we can see this bread. This is a bread. This is the bread mold. And what is a toadstool? Toadstool means nothing but it's a mushroom yeast. It is used in the baking industries. Okay. And what is this penicillin? This penicillin is used for the antibiotic, means for the medicinal purpose. So this was all about the three classification, that is Monera, Protista and fungi. Okay, so this was the part 1 of 5 kingdom classification. In the next lecture we are going to complete up our Plantae kingdom and animal kingdom, and we are going to learn them in detail. So thank you students.